across and find out how Reliance Industries has fared. They've reported a mixed set of numbers, operationally weak set of numbers for the fourth quarter. Their revenue and profit after tax has beaten street expectations, but margins have come in below than what we were penciling in. In fact, Reliance is the first company to cross the net worth of 10 lakh crore rupees. And my colleague Sharad is here to break down the fourth quarter numbers. Sharad, how is it looking on the Reliance front this time?
Well, it's a very interesting set of numbers coming in. Interestingly, the 10 lakh crore net worth mark has also been crossed, and this is the first time an Indian company is doing. Overall, let me just take you through the overall headline numbers, and then I'll take you to the various segments which would be in focus. Overall, the numbers are mixed. Operationally weak initially, it's looking like revenue is above estimates, PAT is above estimates, but the margins, that is coming below estimates. Overall, Reliance board has also approved a 25,000 crore fundraise, and this would be happening via NCDs. Now let's look at the headline numbers, how they are actually panning out. The numbers are consolidated numbers on a sequential basis. The net revenue has jumped almost 9%, with EBITDA coming in almost flat at almost 43,832 odd crore rupees. PAT, that has significantly gone up by almost 5% on a sequential basis, coming in at almost 19,407 crore rupees on a consolidated basis. EBITDA margin, that has actually surprisingly fallen down, and it's down almost 150 basis points, coming in at 16.8%. Now, another important number to look out would be the Jio's number, where the ARPU numbers have actually come above the street estimates, coming in at 206 rupees. Also, interestingly, let's point out how the segments have actually performed. The OTC segment, the overall numbers to track, the EBITDA numbers are above estimates. EBITDA coming in at more than 15,080 odd crore rupees. It was expected that it would be flat, so there is a jump of roughly 5% on a sequential basis, and that's a surprise because it was expected that the OTC business would be coming in with a pressure because of weak cracks. Oil and gas business, EBITDA over here also less than estimates, EBITDA coming in at roughly 5,123 odd crore rupees. Retail EBITDA has been better than estimates. That's roughly 6,721 crores coming in. It was expected that it would be a 10% increase, but actually the result is 14 odd percent. And Jio has been a strong number. The margins have also gone up 2.2 basis points sequentially, but the number to look at is the ARPU number, which has actually beat the street estimates, and also when it comes to the overall additions as well, when it comes to the subscribers. So these are the initial numbers. These are the initial impact analysis overall for Reliance as well as for its various segments. And joining us is Deven Choksi. And hi Deven sir, initially how you're looking at the results? It looks kind of a currently mixed bag, but what do you make out of it, and what are the growth outlook looking like for Reliance?
Yes, Sharad, I think good evening. Well, I think the main important numbers as I read it, the announcement I think in the press release, the Geo platform and retail put together is having an EBITDA of somewhere around close to 24,000 crores. As against which, I think the mainstream business of oil to chemicals and oil and gas exploration business, I think is having an EBITDA of around 20,000 crores. So actually, I think for the first time, you would probably find that the tilt has moved in favor of consumer-facing business, both the Geo platform as well as the retail business. Though the retail business is slightly muted as far as the numbers are concerned in this quarter, but overall, I think they are 24,000 crore EBITDA. In my viewpoint, I think if the Geo platform numbers are to be extrapolated for the full year in 25-26, then you could possibly be reaching the top line of somewhere around 1,60,000 to 1,70,000 crores and EBITDA to somewhere around 75 to 80,000 crores. So that's where I think this particular company is transiting big time. It will be interesting to see how this digital service business, I think, unfolds. It is time that they may probably, I think, bring this business separately listed into the market. So initial thoughts, maybe I think we can discuss further.
Question remains is for the telecom business, the ARPU numbers, look at it, it's coming in at 206 rupees. Now we are expecting further ARPU hikes, coming in over the next 8 to 12 odd months across the telecom industry. So can we expect more ARPU increases, say around 220 to 250?
So without going back into the new possibility of tariff increase, the existing tariff plan that the company has already announced, they are suggesting that as the previous period comes to an end, that means I think the previous the card issues that they have done, prepaid issues that they have done, if that come to an end, probably I think we are going to see by the end of the fourth quarter in the current financial year, ARPU is increasing in the range of around 212 to 215. And that's where I think you're likely to see the larger growth path. In fact, in the previous quarter, when we were reviewing the result, I think at the same time, I think after the announcement of the quarter result, I clearly indicated that at that time the ARPUs were somewhere around 199 to 200. I was clearly indicating that by the end of the financial year, you should be reaching in the territory of around 205 to 210 kind of an ARPU. And exactly that is the same thing which is getting validated 4 quarters after today. I believe that this 4 quarters henceforth, that is 25-26 financial year, ARPUs could be reaching in the territory of 212 to 215. And that's where you should be seeing about 80,000 crore worth of EBITDA for the company in the full year 25-26 from digital services.
Exactly. Devan bhai, the consumption space is something which we had spoken about, and so much bullishness is coming. And in this quarter itself, we saw like a strong momentum coming in the numbers. So I just have a question. Overall, the question I am having is, where's the value unlocking happening? There's no mention by the company regarding any IPO or any value unlocking activity, and the market is looking at it, as Reliance as well. It has been range bound, it has been on fall. Some kind of, up move is happening over the last 1 to 2 weeks. So from here, currently, the value unlocking, no statement has come from Reliance. So what's your view on that?
Should be happening now because probably they were waiting for the consumer facing businesses to report higher set of numbers compared to the industrial businesses. If you actually compare the previous quarters, the industrial business of oil to gas, that is O2C, and the oil and gas exploration business, they would contribute somewhere around 55% to the total EBITDA as against 45% from consumer facing businesses. This time around, I think the equation has reversed. And as I was making a point, that between the digital services and the retail platform, they have made reported about 24,000 crore worth of EBITDA as against 20,000 crore odd kind of EBITDA that they've done from the O2C and the oil and gas exploration business. That means that the consumer facing businesses have now started reporting higher. And that's where probably the company would be eyeing at separating out these businesses. Largely also because of the fact that I think with that size that they are reflecting, probably they should be getting at a significantly higher amount of premium as far as the listing is concerned. So let's hope and see how exactly they unfold this particular event in coming months.
And one more question. Reliance BP Mobility is in focus. They have expanded their CBG network to almost 50 odd cities under the Clean Green Initiative. Now they are sourcing gas produced at Reliance's digesters. It's also accelerating the rollout in the CNG outlets. Now the question is, can you actually say that the CGD companies which are there, any more competition coming from Reliance? Because that is some area which we are looking at. Visually, it looks like Reliance is serious about it. So what kind of competition we can expect for the city gas distribution companies?
It's a good question, I guess, but I think it's not immediately answerable also because of the fact that I think we don't have the peer-to-peer comparison available on this particular front, both on the volume supply as well as on the possible turnover, etc. So unless I think that thing comes as a granular breakup from the company, probably we could think more in that direction. And at the same time, I think looking at the overall book size of the company, such business I think is not going to move the needle in the sense that I think not likely to see a major or game changer kind of a number. So yes, I think important though it is, but at the same time, I think not very significantly large for the size of Reliance that we are talking about.
Speak about firstly the ARPU, how the telecom segment has actually panned out. Also, we spoke about what value unlocking at this moment, especially for the consumption names for Reliance is there. And interestingly, the CGD gas kind of impact what is there. But apart from this, Devan bhai, one important question is there are two suppressed segments of their OTC and your oil to gas, these both segments. OTC, of course, there was a pressure of weaker cracks also. The Singapore numbers, the GRMs, they also cracked and they fell almost 58% on a year-on-year basis. And nothing much has actually come from these two segments over the last 2 to 3 odd quarters. And also the numbers, we did check the numbers, the EBITDA have missed estimates for both of them. So do you think these two segments, will they be suppressed more as the global volatility is still there and it's pertaining in the entire chemical systems, especially in the downstream segment? So I just want to know that over the next 2 odd quarter or 1 quarter at least, will they be suppressed? And if that is the thing, then the entire focus on the sum of part actually moves to the consumer facing products for Reliance. What would be your take on it?
So I think my understanding says that in the current financial year which has begun now, you're likely to see the higher amount of advantage coming to Reliance largely because of lower crude oils and the prices therein. And that is going to continue for some period because the global environment, due to whatever uncertainty that we are talking about, the crude oil prices are remaining at a lower level. And Reliance being Reliance, they are procuring their crude oil from the likes of Russia. At least I think the complex crude oil that they are high sulfur grade crude oil that they are procuring is I think a discount to the mainframe Brent actually. I think and that's where probably you are likely to see the better amount of handle on the margin going forward in the current year. Second thing in the petchem business, because of the increased capacity, I think they should be getting a volume advantage in this particular 25-26 year, which probably was not seen last year, largely also because of the fact that I think some of the petchem products and their margins have been quite suppressed because of the crude oil prices. Now, with the crude oil prices remaining stable, we are likely to see the better realization for petchem along with higher production volume that we are talking about. And at the same time, I think they would be procuring the crude at a cheaper price, suggesting that they will have relatively better GRM to talk about in 25-26, at least in 1 or 2 quarters from now. I think that should be, I think, a good reality. So let's wait and see. But yes, I think the numbers which were even subdued in the 24-25 financial year in the oil to gas and the oil and gas exploration business could possibly start rising in the 25-26 first 2 quarters.
That's a very important point Devan Bhai has raised, and interestingly in the press release also that mentioned that surprisingly the street was expecting that there would be lower production coming in the KGDX and the CBM blocks, but over here itself there has been a slight good EBITDA contribution coming in for the oil and gas business. So we did speak about the oil and gas business as well as the OTC business. Not much coming trigger, but consumer facing, that is something which we'll be looking out for. But there is some important commentary coming in from the promoter itself, and especially this commentary is coming for the AI business, and this is what I'm talking about, the digital services business, which is housing the Geo. Over here, the statement is coming is that Jio is working on enabling large-scale AI infrastructure and services that will add an intelligence layer to all the Jio services. Now, the moment an intelligence layer is added, and we know there has been an NVIDIA tie-up as well, when the management of NVIDIA had actually come to India and there was a tie-up with the Reliance promoters. Now, interestingly, now Jio is looking at the AI layer out of it. Now, what bakes in for Jio here? What is the future if there's an AI layer added on the telecom segment as well? So where does Jio actually pan out now? Of course, it's not just a telecom company, then it becomes something else. If it's an AI company or it's a wrapper on a telecom segment, so that differentiates Jio. So Devan Bhai, what's your view on Jio then? How do we place the company? Not only the ARPUs are increasing, expected to increase the range which we discussed, ranging between 220 to 250 odd numbers, but now there is an AI theme to it as well, and how fast that can actually be put in use. So that is something to watch out for. So Devan Bhai, what would be your view if you want to place Jio as a company, say like 12 months down the line, and AI is also included in it, because the commentary has started coming in, and maybe in the annual report we can expect something more to come from the annual general meeting as well. So what would be your view? How will Jio place itself now?
Yeah, important point, and I think let me elaborate. I think the bread and butter business in form of the mobile telephony and the data consumption therein, I think is likely to grow steadily at a pace of around between 15 to 20%. So which is not bad at all on a size that we are talking about. But more importantly, I think the higher amount of data consumption is taking place in the fiber to home as well as in the enterprise segment. And that's where probably I think the larger growth is likely to happen. And as you rightly alluded, saying about the AI, which is likely to possibly, I think, give major amount of thrust to the data consumption activity at the enterprise level. Because given the kind of applications on different segment which they are already built in, be it media, be it e-commerce, be it fintech, or for that matter agri-tech and healthcare, or gaming, each and every verticals in which this company is offering a solution. At the enterprise level, different applications, when they start adapting to the AI-related models, AI-related products, my take is that you are likely to see higher amount of growth coming in from this premium segment of business. That's where we are likely to see the higher growth. Now, how much it would be in form of numbers, what kind of data consumption increases, what kind of cloud computing or the data center related business would contribute, etc. Something which will unfold over a period of time. That's what I would like to think. At this point of time, my take is that I think the graded metal business continues to grow 15-20%, and the premium business in the enterprise segment would add, if not more, another growth of 15 to 20% going forward from the current base of 60,000 odd crore EBITDA. So one can definitely look forward to a relatively stronger numbers of around 75 to 80,000 crore EBITDA in 25-26 from Geo platform itself.
For giving your views on entire earnings on Reliance and where does Reliance actually stand when it comes to the future going ahead. Thank you very much, Devan Bhai, for taking out your
Thank you.
time. And now we'll just take a break, and after the break, we'll be back with the news.